All right, I got CDO coach Dustin Peace here in his 14th year, on the brink of 100 career wins. I mean, when you look back at that, I mean, what are your thoughts about being this close to 100 wins now, one win away?
When you think about it, you're like, I know it's cliche, but like, just seems like whereas 14 years gone, you know what I mean? And it's kind of scary when it's adding up. The other thing I think about is, how did coaches like Vern Freely get to 300? You know what I mean?
Yeah, forever.
He's
iconic.
Forever. Yeah, I'm like, man, 100's been 14 years. I'm pretty sure I don't have 28 more years of coaching to me. So you commend those coaches for the sacrifice that they made all those years. But I'm definitely happy to have every one of those victories here at CDO. You know, it's been the pride. And fall break, been bringing my kids over here. They've been on the field. They overseeded it with me with some of the players on Sunday. They were here last night when we were watering. My kids my kids are a little bit involved in this whole scenario, and they take pride in it too. And really a family atmosphere. And it's even becoming more of that now as I've gotten older with my boys coming around.
How old are you, if you don't mind me asking?
I'm 40. Well, I'm 41, but on Saturday I'll be 40. Well, no. I'm 40. See how I'm saying? So I go. I'm 40. I'm going to be 41 on Saturday.
Well,
so,
I mean, 28 more years of coaching, you won't be 70 yet. So I think
Coach Kern's still doing it, right?
Yeah, I think Freely coached into his 70s, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Different age, different age where when we start, this for all coaches, all sports, it doesn't ever end anymore. It seems like, we're going in January, we're going all summer, and it's definitely, it takes a toll holistically on the family and everything. So commend all the, volleyball coaches, swimming coaches, they're all doing it, and you're there to witness it.
Right. Well, yeah.
How much they're putting in and how much effort that takes, for sure.
Yeah, I mean, have you ever felt like you've been taken to the limit? I mean, you're still young, but it's got to be sometimes taxing on you. Or have you always felt strong? And
it's one of those things when you're out here, you get lost. It's kind of like you're in your zone, you're in your element, and like time just flies. We've had some big distractions this year, but when we come out to the actual field, all that goes away for a little bit. And I think, reflecting back on even when I played and even when I've been coaching here at CDO for 21 years, that's like my release time. It's the only time I don't have my phone on me. My phone's over there somewhere. It's the only time where I'm literally locked in on one thing and focused on that. And it's a good release, I think, even for me personally, but for each kid and everybody, that needs a little 2.5 hour break. And we talked a lot about that as we were going through some of our ups and downs. And that's what sports is in general. It's that outlet that you get to have.
Now this is a good run you're having now. Good run last year. Unexpectedly, you guys went to the second round of the playoffs. This year, you guys look really strong. I mean, just talk about now how it feels like to be on that ladder. You're going up to that state championship level again. I mean, what does that feel like?
Feels great. Yeah. I mean, for us to take steps that we're taking is awesome. I mean, this year has been really, we've taken the step we wanted to take so far, and we got to be consistent in that and keep preparing the same way. And ball break's been great. Every kid's been on time this week, and they're locked in and they're ready to go. And that'll be the test. Those kinds of things will be the test. Do they still want to play in December? Those will be the tests. And it's up to me as a coach to balance that for them. You know what I mean? We don't got to practice hours upon hours, spend Saturdays and Sundays in here. We know that there's a chance we could play in December. And we've done that as a staff, and we know how that takes. We know what it takes to get our team prepared for that. And we don't have to necessarily, now today's got to be its best today, but we don't got to say, well, we're working for December, but we're just working for now and focus on now, and all that'll take care of itself. And then when the weekend comes and we have the time off, be off, go relax. And that's part of that mental balance that I think everybody's going to need, as we move forward. But kids are very excited right now. Last week was a super fun week. That was a great win. Even going back and watching the film, very happy about where we're at. Still got some steps to make, but very, very excited that we can. And Cat Foothills is a good team. They're possibly a playoff team, and we played very well. So excited about that.
Now you're going to join 5 other coaches that have at least 100 wins. You know, one of them is Pat Nugent. He's like in the 145 range. I mean, and he coached you, right? And you coached with him. So how much has he impacted you in your career?
Oh, without a doubt. You know, you got Coach Nugent and Coach Mendeville at Amphi were both my coaches at CDO, you know, and they've impacted me immensely. You know, when I go back to, you know, why have I done this for 21 years? I've done it because those two men have changed my life. You know, I remember when I blew my Achilles my senior year, and Coach Nugent, we took a school car and we went up to a spring game at NAU, and he helped me get a walk-on spot. And it kind of just kept my career going, kept my hopes going, and ended up getting a scholarship after the first semester, all that stuff. So he did that. I remember Coach Mendeville came up and watched my game. I went and hung out with him and his son at the hotel after. So those moments, you know, you're a coach for life, and they'll always be my coaches. You know, now they're a little bit more my friends, but I still remember the sacrifice that they've done for me, and to be a part of that group coaching wise. And they let me back in the coaching world too. You know, as soon as I was done, Coach Nugent had me in here when I was 20 years old, and I was going. He gave me the defensive coordinator position when that opportunity became available, and then obviously advocated for me to get the job here. So without a doubt, he's been, you know, like a lot of us coaches been a huge father figure for me. And a mentor and everything else, you know. So, and Coach Mendeville as well, and Coach Ryden that's at DC at South Point, like all those guys, I still talk to. That's the greatest thing, is I still talk to every one of my coaches. My 7th and 8th grade football coach met me at Walden Grove last year, Coach Barfield, and was talking to me. So those, even down to those years, each one of those guys had huge impacts on me. And to be considered with those guys coaching wise is awesome. You know, it's awesome. But real proud of the culture that we have here, that I'm able to be here for 14 years, that I'm able to have 100 wins here, that we are able to do that, because all these guys have kind of been with me the whole time. So, and that's why I've been here 14 years. You got the same staff that's bought into, you know, the process of our program.
Right. Now, do you remember the time you're like, okay, I think I want to be a coach? Do you remember that period?
Yeah, I think, you know, in high school, I'm super outdoors guy, so I was like, you know, I want to be a wildlife guy kind of thing. And then I think it all started turning, you know, my senior year when I got hurt, and I just felt the loss of football, and the loss, how it impacted me. And I was like, man, this is like one of the most heartbreaking things I've had to deal with, you know. And we didn't have the greatest upbringing when we were kids, and that still devastated me to a point where I was like, man, this is a huge part of who I am and who I've become. And man, I get to keep doing it every year, you know what I mean? And it doesn't, each journey has its own. That's why these coaches coach forever. You know, you got Coach Freely, you got Coach Saban, you know, a lot of guys that I look up to and that inspire me. They're all doing it because each year is its own thing, you know, and it keeps you going, it keeps you re-energized in that. So I think that senior year, losing that, getting that taken away from you, shows you like, wow, who are you? Because that's what helped me become a better human, was football. Helped me become a better teacher, a better person, you know, and all these things, a teammate, a leader, all these things you learn. And then it spills over to your life too, you know, so you just become a better person overall. And that football did that for me. And that's where I was kind of like, yeah, you know. But I tell my kids now, my two boys, they're like, they want to be coaches now. And I'm like, nope, you're not being you're not doing all that.
Well, they'll probably play for you one day.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm coaching this flag football team.
Oh, okay.
So we're doing that on Saturdays, and that's been fun. But yeah, so I think that was the first time it happened. And then when Coach gave me the opportunity, then you just fall in love, you know. So it's like you're still kind of playing, you know, and you still have that competitive nature, and you still have more than anything, the bonds amongst players and coaches and all that stuff, and that never goes away.
Did you coach against Freely?
Yes. I think I coached his very last football game.
Yeah, so I mean,
Blake Martinez, I think, was his last football game.
Wow.
I remember that. That was kind of what I remember. So, do
you remember any conversation you had with him, like anything he told you? Or?
Yeah, I mean, there's things, you know, as years went on. I remember when I was, I remember this vividly, you know, because we played Amphi 2 weeks after. What was weird, I got hurt with my Achilles tendon. Hopefully you're not picking that up.
Oh, I was zoned in on you.
Yeah. So when I got hurt, we played CDO the very next week. So Coach Steele and some of the coaches that were here, Coach Wordblow, were at the game when I got hurt, and then we played CDO the next week, and then the week after we played Amphi. And I got to, as I'm walking through the line, Coach Freely, they beat Floyd Wells. They beat us at that time, and he shook my hand, and he was just like, I'm really sorry. And he's all, game might have been a little bit different had you been there and stuff like that. Whatever, things that, not that that's, but I remember him going out of his way to acknowledge me in that sense. And then obviously when I became a coach and stuff, we had conversations and being able to be, I'm pretty sure it was his very last game that played against us. And he was, he was in a wheelchair at that time, finishing up his career. And it was just inspiring. And then later on when he had passed, we had played Coach Mendeville in Amphi one of the weeks, and we did a tribute. We lined up in Bone.
Yeah.
We lined up took a knee on the first, take a delay a game on the first play, and he kind of invented that Bone stuff. And I still have cards in my office because going against that offense is just, it's tough. It's annoying. It's physical. It's all those things because you can put people in the right spots, but it comes down to just, being physically better than some of the guys in front of you. So, yeah, a lot of memories, and thinking, he's got 300 and some wins. You're like, holy cow, there's no way. But Hunter's gone fast, and excited for our program.
Now, you played against him and coached against him. Have you come across anybody now that's in that boat with you? I mean, has somebody played against you and now coached against you? Even if it's an assistant?
I don't know. That's a good question. I don't know about as a head coach.
Yeah.
Me and Coach Hargraves are close to the same age and played. I
Right.
think he's a couple years behind me. He might have played on me when we played Santa Rita. He might have been on that team.
Yeah.
And then we coached. Yeah, so he might have been. We're pretty much the same age. He went to Santa Rita. I just don't know if we were at the exact same years.
Right. Well, see, you're not old then because you haven't had to coach against somebody you coached against. I mean, played against you. So.
Exactly. Yeah, it's coming. Some of my friends' kids are here on this team that I went to high school with and stuff like that. So actually, one of my best friends, his kid's playing with us now, and we're getting to that step. When I get to the step when I'm coaching my ex-players' kids, now we've taken a whole new level.
So I mean, congratulations on where you've at right now. You got to beat Douglas obviously to get that 100th win, but just the way you've been able to build this program up and stay here for 14 years because that doesn't happen too much more. You see coaches moving different places. So why CDO for this long? What is it about CDO that?
It's just a lot about who I am. I'm a real loyal person. Me and my wife have been together since we've been 15 years old. So we're already going on 25 years. It's a little bit in my nature where you build something and you nurture it and you keep growing within it. I think that's probably the key for us is we had to keep growing. We had to change things. We had to keep things fresh for us, to grow. Because if you're here for 14 years and you're still not trying to grow, then the program's not going to grow. And I think we've seen that in the program where we've had some lows, we've had some ups, and we've ridden things out, and we are where we are today. And that's, we're proud of that.
Have you ever had an opportunity to go coach somewhere else? I mean, you don't have to say where or when, but have you had that?
When I was young, I was, thinking about the college thing and all those kind of dreams. And, and then it's like some of my coaches do and some of the coaches that are out there, and then you have, I've always had my wife, but then you have kids, and then you really start settling down into what's important. And then you really start buying into how pure the game of high school football is. It's pure as fashion still. Right. I know we have some movement where kids pick and choose things, but a lot of times these kids all grow up together and they all play together. Like our team, a lot of those guys played together, and you covered them when they were at the Dolphins and things like that, and just being a part of that neighborhood growth, and playing with your best friend is something still really special to all that. I think that's what keeps it pure and keeps it challenging. You gotta, in college and in the NFL, you get to pick the people that fit what you want to do. Whereas here, you gotta, go to what they do best. You gotta do what's best for the kids and what's best for the team. So, I've had that opportunity, and we have a lot of family here in Tucson. So, my only movement would have been within Tucson, and I this is where I want to be, and You know, so we've done a lot of, every time it's kind of come up, it's like, man, we've invested so much. We've invested so much, we've built this so much, it's just tough to really say, there's a place that's better in my mind. I'm here for a reason. Now, other places do things great around Tucson, and these coaches are awesome. I just feel like this, for us, we make this the best, and we're happy about it.
Yeah, I better let you get to your team there. But, congratulations on everything so far. I do hope you coach another 28, 30 years. The whole city of Tucson does. But, best of luck to you.
Hey, brother, appreciate it, man.
Thank you.
Thank you.